Hey guys, hope everything's going well. You guys know that drill. Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and comment down below. Follow me on Instagram at AIH_sports. Also, follow me on my finance channel at AIH Finance. And for those that aren't subscribed, make sure to subscribe to me. Okay, there's been a lot of talk about the sports card market is like the stock market, and you have all these fancy terms being used to describe the total amount of sales. You have different platforms, you have market capitalization, etc. They want to turn this into what goes on Wall Street. In my opinion, that is the worst thing possible for this hobby. And you saw a shift the last few years. I warned about Wall Street and the type of mentality getting in that hobby over a year ago. You could check it out. And I was looking at this one video of this one company that was acquired by another company. Everybody would know the name if I were to blurt it out. Ziggy No called these guys out over a year ago, and he did a good job. And one of the guys, takes indirect hits at me. So I'm like, okay, fine. Let me do this video. So I saw this one of their videos from over a year ago had over 100,000 views, had what, a little over 20 likes. That means it got ratioed. And it was talking about their platform is like the stock market, or it's sports cards basically for the stock market. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a second. The S&P 500, even though that it's down right now, what's the approximate market capitalization? Maybe $40 trillion. That's right. So people, and this is just one index, right? I'm not talking about the Russell. I'm not talking about the Dow Jones. I'm not talking about the Nasdaq. S&P 500. Correct me if I'm wrong, okay? If I got the numbers mixed up, jot it down below. You're talking about a $40 trillion industry, and you want to compare the sports card hobby to the stock market? I mean, it's crazy. And this type of notion, in my opinion, the industry has manipulated the people into believing that these are like stocks. And MTG Line even did a video today, and I've talked about this concept today, and it's about this thing is not liquid. And I asked the great curator, and it's about liquidity, and he said the liquidity depends on the card. Well, here's some facts today from the stock market, or not facts, but I'm just looking at the volume. Okay, the S&P 500 today had over 100 million shares. Granted, it was a down day. I think it's close to 125 million. Granted, it was a down day, and when you see these volatile days, you tend to see more volume, right? Hedge funds like it, so they trade actively in ETFs like the SPY, the Spiders ETF. If you want to look at Apple stock, what I saw was approximately 96 million shares traded today. So we have people in the sports card industry saying this is like the stock market, okay? That's how it's being branded. When in fact, how much volume do you have on some of these low population cards? Yeah, maybe what, one sale every now and then, maybe every few months. Now, if it's a common card like a Fleer 86 card, a Brady 236 card, okay, you're going to get more sales. There's no doubt about that. But still, the volume of all of these stocks is substantially greater than stocks itself. And, or let me rephrase this. In the stock market, there are millions of shares traded on a daily basis. What about sports cards? You may have on a good day maybe 20 cards traded, maybe of Brady. I could be wrong, of number 236 card. different grades, etc., because that's one card that is always going to be on my radar. So this notion, in my opinion, is has led people the wrong way, and it has made people data dependent. And you see people write these white papers coming up with all these terms and coming up with all of this data that, in my opinion, isn't necessary in regards to sports cards. Simple thing to make money is you buy low and you sell high. And on top of it, you have, if in a bull market, I mean, in a market like today, where it's more difficult to make money, you got to look for cards that are under the radar, and you have to anticipate that the demand is going to rise, which will lead to a price increase. So a player that no one's looking at, no one really wants, like I mentioned before, Kyrie cards, they were cheap in November and December, and then they've seen a decent appreciation in the last few months. So just stuff like that. That's how you'll make money. And yeah, people say, hey, look at the high end cards. Some of these cards have gone crazy. Yeah, they have. It's a roll of the dice for these cards, for these guys that are retired. Not every one of these cards has gone up. And yeah, it's just things like this, in my opinion, that people need to look out for. And there's nothing wrong in using these tools. But at the same time, when you have all these guys coming out with not new terms, but coming out with new tools and coming out with all these white papers, and I saw two people coming out with white papers. I guess that's the new thing today. You should look out. I mean, the basic thing about cards is it's part of the collectibles industry. Historical data shows collectibles do the best in a negative interest rate environment. That's pretty much all you need to know. How could you measure negative interest rates today? Just look at the 5-year TIPS yield, look at the 10 years TIPS yield. It's still negative. Treasury inflation protected securities. And in a time you have positive interest rates, yeah, you'll have some cards go up, but it's not going to be as hot as it was, in 2020, 2021. Okay? It's just basic knowledge people need to acquire. And a lot of these cards also are going up because of hype. And that's something you got to watch out for. And I don't think the industry does a good job. It's not in their own interest to highlight these things. For me, I don't care if I get invited to one of these pumper conferences. I don't care if I'm invited to one of these YouTube channels for an interview. If someone wants to bring me on, I'll most likely go on if I've heard of them. But I don't care. When I do these videos, I tell you what I think. And sometimes it ruffles some feathers. Sometimes people unsubscribe. I don't care. I tell you what I think. And in the long run, I think the more people that hear the truth or what someone deems to be the truth, I think that's good for the hobby. Rather than hype, rather than someone doing it for themselves and screwing over their subscribers, I'm not doing that. I'm telling you what I think, and I want everyone, to do the best they can, but do it the right way. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, comment down below, guys. Thanks. Bye.